The world population is more than 7 billion people. Some countries have difficulty feeding their people. Cities have become megalopolises and consume farmland as they expand. People feel buried in buildings, and it takes an hour by car to see the countryside. At night, city lights spread in all directions. During the day, gray buildings extend for miles. What happens when we run out of room? There are 7,075,861,059 people on Earth. There are 57.5 million square miles of land on Earth. The population density of our planet is 123.06 people for every square mile, while the United States has 315,602,000 people, giving it a density of 88.6 people per square mile. And every square mile of land has to house and feed them. But how much food can 1 square mile produce? A square mile is 640 acres, and 8 people can live off 1 acre. So a square mile can feed 5,120 people, and 100 square miles can feed 512,000 people. As our population grew, buildings shot skyward. The Empire State Building is 102 stories high, and today, more than 20 buildings exceed that number. City-sized buildings, a square mile or larger, can be built to 100 plus stories, and their adjacent greenhouses can be built just as high. But is it possible to stop our cities from expanding? Yes, it is. Cities, however, must go vertical. We can build buildings a square mile or larger and 100 stories tall. The cost would be between $50 and $100 billion. The profits, however, would be huge if the buildings attract buyers. Such buildings would be city buildings with shopping malls, professional offices, fire departments, police stations, waterworks, power production, hospitals, movie theaters, hotels, TV stations, newspapers, and restaurants. Such a building would comfortably house 600,000 people. And food could be provided by a mile-square greenhouse rising 120 stories into the sky. A greenhouse, a square mile in area and 120 floors high, could feed 600,000 people. Some food, of course, would be shipped from farms just as it is today, especially meat, fish, and poultry. But the greenhouse building would supply most of the food and, in an emergency, enable everyone to survive. The city building and the greenhouse would sit on 6 square miles of land, providing room for parking, parks, and jogging trails. The population density would be 100,000 people per square mile, immensely greater than the current 123 people per square mile worldwide. We can't continue to treat the Earth as 2 dimensions with city expansion destroying our farmland. We can't continue to treat the Earth as 2 dimensions with people feeling trapped by miles of concrete buildings. We must use the 3rd dimension to increase both our living area and farm production. The world's governments should start pilot city building projects proving their feasibility as well as their profitability. Capitalism would take over and city buildings would spring up throughout the world. The Earth can hold, at 100,000 people per square mile, 5.75 trillion people. This would give us enough time to develop space travel, gather resources from asteroids and moons, and eventually migrate to the stars. A beautiful future filled with fun and adventure, instead of forced sterilization, abortions, concentration camps, and starvation.